Just one more reading in the Six Dharma Gates to the Sublime. Kalavinka Buddhist Classics. Page 73, Chapter 8, The Six Gates according to the Contemplation of Mind. Contemplation of mind and the gateway of following. Additionally, at the very time when the practitioner contemplates the mind, he realizes that all dharmas associated with content fall along with the mind king. If there were no mind king, then there would not be no mental factor, kaitasica dharmas. It's because there is movement in the domain of the mind king that the mental factor dharmas also move. This is analogous to the 100 ministry subjects who all follow along in accord with the great king. The reliance upon and according with the mind king, which takes place on the part of all the mental factor dharmas, is just the same in this respect. At the very time when one contemplates in this way, one realizes that it is the mind itself which constitutes the gateway of following. Contemplation of mind and gateway of stabilization. Additionally, at the very moment when the practitioner contemplates the mind, realizes that the nature of the mind is in a state of quiescence, and that this is just a case of all dharmas abiding in quiescence as well. Because they abide in a state of quiescence, he does not bear any mind. Because he does not bear any mind, then he moves not move. He does not move. Because he does not move, this constitutes stabilization. One should realize that it is the mind itself which constitutes the gateway of stabilization. Additionally, at the very time when the practitioner contemplates the mind, he becomes completely aware that the nature of the mind is likened to space, is devoid of name, is devoid of any inherent existence, characteristic features, and is such that it cuts off the path of all discourse attempting to describe it. He opens up the repository of ignorance and perceives its genuine nature. He gains an attached wisdom with respect to all dharmas. One should realize that it is the mind itself which constitutes the gateway of contemplation. Contemplation of mind and the gateway of turning. Additionally, at the very time when the practitioner contemplates the mind, since he does not apprehend any inherent existence of that mind which is the object of contemplation, does not apprehend that wisdom which is able to engage in contemplation either. At that very time, the mind is like empty space and has nothing upon which it depends. Although he does not perceive the inherent existence of any dharma implying the supreme wisdom of non-attachment, he nonetheless turns back, and with the penetrating understanding of all dharmas, make a distinction about then, reviews then, explains then. He enters this entire dharma realm with no place being left out or only meagerly attended to. He manifests from bodies everywhere, taking on forms below in the other 9 karmic destinies. He enters into this treasure of supernatural transformations, super knowledges, accumulates all manner of good roots, root of goodness, dedicates then to body through transference of merit, and carries on with the adornment of the Buddha lands. One should realize that it is the mind itself which constitutes the gateway of turning. Contemplation of mind and the gateway of purification. Additionally, at the very time when the practitioner contemplates the mind, although he is unable to apprehend any inherent existence in either the mind or any other dharma, still he is able, utterly and completely, to make distinction with regard to all dharmas. Although he makes distinction with regard to all dharmas, he is not attached to any dharma, and thus he perfects all dharmas. He does not become stained by any dharma because his very nature is pure. This is because from the very beginning on throughout the present, he has remained unstained by ignorance, delusion, or inverted views. Thus is that the sutra says, the mind does not become stained even in the midst of afflictions. The afflictions do not stain the mind. Because the practitioner possesses a penetrating understanding of the purity of his own nature, even when he enters into the 5 dharmas, he remains unstained by the 5 dharmas. Thus, it is that this qualifies as purification. One should realize that it is the mind itself which constitutes the gateway of purification. The 6 gateways, taken up in this manner, do not rely upon any sequence. One directly contemplates the nature of mind and then straightway achieves perfection. That's it. One more. The 6 Dharma Gates to the Sublime.